They completed the training, but leadership growth does not end when the program ends. Tonight, I have 3 members of the city of Rochester recently completed Cohort 13, and they'll be joining me to talk about what stood out, how they've grown, and most importantly, what's the next step for them. This is the 30. Let's get it started. Well, hello there, gang. Welcome to the 30. Thank you for joining me and joining us on this special episode of the 30. I'm Patrick, and the 30 is a production of the Jackman Group LLC. Again, thank you for joining us. The 30 is a space for meaningful conversation designed to support personal, professional, and leadership growth. Do me a huge favor. Like this episode and drop us a comment. We love to hear from you. Put a comment in. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions for our guests, I'm sure they'll love to hear from you. So go ahead and do that. If you are watching from our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to our channel. I greatly appreciate that. Well, folks, tonight I am joined, right now we have 2, but we're scheduled to have 3 members of the recently completed City of Rochester Leadership Development and Training Program. And this is Cohort 13. So we've done 13 cohorts with the City of Rochester, and I am thankful, our team is thankful for the opportunity to partner with the City of Rochester. And I want you to hear about the experience from their perspective, from our 2 to 3 guests. I'm hoping that one of our guests will join us, but so far we have 2. And I'm going to shut up and bring them on so that you can hear more from them and, of course, less from me. So let me, who is the first person? Let's add Davion. Davion, welcome to the 30.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Next, I'm going to add Arlo Rollock. Arlo, welcome to the 30. I know you're doing some things right now, so I only have you for a short period of time. But thank you for joining us on this episode of the 30.
Absolutely. It's good to be here.
All right. And we're waiting. We're supposed to have one more person, Jalynn. Hopefully she'll be able to join us. But let's start with this. Davion, let's tell our viewers and listeners who you are briefly and what do you do for the city of Rochester?
Good night, guys. Davion Davy. I am a member of Building Services, subsection Downtown Division. We basically do everything downtown. Hang banners, put up Christmas lights, plow. We basically take care of the entire downtown, the entire central business district. And been here since 2024, and I'm loving it.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Davion. Let's now introduce and talk to Arlo. Arlo?
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, Arlo. Thank you for joining us. It looks like you're stuck somehow, uh, but I can hear you. So go ahead.
Yes, I'm Arlo, Arlo Rollock. I'm with DES Security, and yeah, it's good to be here. Not much about me other than um, still developing as a leader.
All right, that's good. You know, John F. Kennedy once says leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. And I think tonight's conversation speaks directly to that. So we have about 20-25 minutes. Let's talk about, guys, as you look back as to when you first started, what were your expectations coming into the class?
Um, I would say, if you don't mind, but I would say mine was when I was first introduced about this class, the lead on class. I was told, Rolock, you're gonna like this. This is something you're gonna really like. Um, you're gonna enjoy this. And so when I first came in, I expected I just gonna be a walk through the park. It's leadership. I love leadership. I love learning new things. And by the time I got into the class, I was like, I like this. Like I like the setting. I like everything that was going on. And so that's what I expected. I expected it to be a walk through the park. Now was it?
Was
No.
Arlo? Was it?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't at all. It was a challenge. It was definitely something that put my mind to work. It opened my mind to a lot of different things. I opened my mind to um, say that I don't know everything about leadership. I don't know what it is truly to be a leader until I took this class. I figured being able to have a relationship with other people, right, and knowing that people can lean on you, I thinking that's what leadership was about. But that that didn't really cover everything. So that's what I got out of it.
Okay. Now you are Arlo, you are a supervisor, you have a team of security officers
Correct.
that um, that you serve, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. Davion, what did you expect from the class coming into it? And did you get everything that you expected from the class?
Honestly, unlike Arlo, I never had anyone that gave me a heads up as to what this class was. I saw an email about leadership, supervisor development, and honestly, I just thought it was just about the city laws and principles. Like, that's all we were going to do. I was in for a rude awakening when I found out that I actually had to do some work on myself as a person. Um, I really enjoyed the class. I honestly, just to be frank, it took me by surprise and it really got me embracing the discomfort and getting out of my comfort zone. I never know that I had to do so much work on myself as an individual, and this class really brought all of that out of me.
What were some of the things if you were to say, and I'm going to start with Arlo first again. If you were to say one or two things that stood out most to you over the 10 weeks, and folks, it's a 10-week cohort. We met once a week, one Wednesday per week for 10 weeks. So Arlo, if you were to say one or two things that stood out to you the most, what would those things be?
Well, it was definitely our strategies. Something I've never learned before. And I will talk about like our feedback model. Our feedback model definitely was something different. Being able to get feedback from your team effectively. Like I've walked in to a room with my team and being able to say, um, all right, guys, what do you guys think about this? And what do you guys think about my leadership skills? And I would always seem to make everything about myself. After I took in the class and I realized how I was doing my feedback models, it was not effective. I was asking the wrong questions because I was asking about myself. I later, like I said, once I took this class, I later figured out that maybe my approach to my team was a lot different and not structured. Like I would just do my roll calls and say, "Okay, guys, what you guys think about this?" Or "What you this like? What do you guys think about me?" Right? And I made the situation about me
Mm,
instead of about them. How you
mm,
guys feeling? Let me do a check on my team. Let me see how they're doing. And I figured that I was doing that more than checking in on them. And I didn't. The other thing that stood out about me was one-on-ones and time management. Those were the other two big things for me. One-on-ones, checking in on my team. I didn't know that one-on-ones, we should be doing that more frequently. Like in our department, it was so structured that superintendent would always send out an email saying, "Hey, one-on-ones are due, coming up." And that's when we do. And that was like every 6 months.
mm.
And that's a long time, right? And by the time somebody comes to you with a one, on their one-on-one, they got so many different complaints, so many different issues that you never knew until you had that one-on-one with them. And then after 6 months later, it's a whole nother list. So being able to do it frequently, I have found out once I took the class and I started doing that, it really turned out to be helpful for me because I knew who my team was, I knew what they were going through, and I knew how I could help. And I knew how to serve them. And I figured that I was more than likely trying to serve myself, even though that wasn't my intent.
Hmm.
I felt like that's what I was doing. And then for time management, as my last point, that was one thing that I was always seeing that I would always do. I would always come in and I would always do church things at work. I would always do life things at work. And then when I get home, I'm trying to catch up on work stuff,
Oh,
checking emails, doing all that type of stuff. I was screwed up when it came to my time management. And so after Mr. Coleman spoke and talked to us about time management, it helped me learn how to prioritize what work life should be and what personal life should be.
great, Arlo. So let's stay in that vein because I know you have to run soon here. What, where do you believe you grew the most during the class over the 10 weeks?
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So you said that you learned in terms of some of the things that you took away from the class, right? But where do you think you grew most, and where did you see the growth in yourself?
I've grown, I would say, more of in my team, with my team. I've grown more in that area of being able to um, work better with my team. I have definitely seen a lot of improvements. I've been having officers come and say, "Hey, Supervisor Rollock, something's different. I thank you for checking up on me. Thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for training me in these areas." Because I was always the supervisor to be like, "Hey, if you don't know this, this is the coaching and counseling." And that's was one thing I learned in the class. How can you coach and counsel somebody when they haven't been trained to do it? And so that was all my thing. Oh, you should know this. You're an officer. You're a security officer. You should know this. So coach and counsel. And I would use that more as like hey, get your act together. But now I've taken some time back to actually reevaluate my team, find out what their strengths and weaknesses are. And it's helped me a lot. It's helped me a lot being able to know where my team is and knowing how to utilize them and know how to build them up. So I would say that's where I've grown a lot and being able to work better with a team and lead a team.
Awesome, great. And folks, we joined a course. So graduation was last week, and joined a course of graduation, the 10 weeks and then graduation. We asked the class members, the cohort members, to vote on a couple of things. Class speaker, so the person who will speak on behalf of the team of the cohort during graduation. And the second one is to vote on who would be the top student. And then us as an organization, the Jackman Group, we voted and came up on who would be the most improved within the class. And Arlen was given the opportunity. He was voted by us to be the most improved of the class because of where he started and where he ended. So Arlo, congratulations on that award. Job well done.
Congrats, Arlo.
Thank you.
So let me pivot now, and Davion, the same questions that I asked Arlo was, what stood out most to you during the class?
One of the things that stood out the most for me is saying that you said to us on day one that assumptions is the saboteur of an effective leader. And that kind of stood out with me because you cannot go into a situation assuming that you know everything. You taught us about having the crucial conversation, and you will only get the rest of the information by having those crucial conversations. And when the mind fills in the blank, you can assume anything. The second thing is that there was a question that you asked about, were leaders made or leaders born? My answer to that was everyone is born with a leadership quality or a leadership trait, but you have to develop that into being a successful leader. So it's just like a police officer and a criminal. A criminal is an untrained person. A police officer is a trained person. Everyone has the ability to go out and probably pick up a weapon or something, but I believe we all have the ability to be leaders, but you have to train and develop and nurture. It's just like a seed. You have to water it to let it grow. Everyone has that ability, but if you don't take care of it, you're not going to blossom into a successful leader. The next thing that I think stood out was communication. I was not a very good communicator. I tried listening. I wasn't very good at expressing myself. This class taught me about body language, tone, and I am constantly practicing and developing myself day by day. And those are a few things that stood out with me the most. And it's a learning process. Every day I'm trying to get better and better at it. You also taught us about gap fillers, space holders using arms and but. And I am trying diligently to take that pause, even though we know that it's awkward to have that moment of silence. But this class taught us that it's okay to take that little second to not say that to fill the gap, you know. And I appreciate it. I totally appreciate everything that I learned in the class and practicing every tool that you gave us diligently.
Let me ask you the next question here and that is, what is something that you've learned in the class during the cohort that you are currently using or intend to use to help your department, but also to help the citizens of Rochester? Arlo, you want to go first?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Sure. What is something you've learned during the class that you are already using since graduation, or you intend to use in your department to help your department, your team members, but more importantly, to help the citizens of Rochester?
I think for my department, I mean, our big thing was the training phase. I've because of this class, I've was able and learning about the gap analysis. I was able to identify the gaps in our department when it came to training. I have realized that the problem in our security department was that a lot of our officers were not trained appropriately, trained accordingly. So, as a supervisor who's responsible for 51, I think actually it's 57 staff members now, it's my responsibility to make sure that I fill in the gaps and find the areas of improvement for my team. Again, not doing the coaching how I was doing before, but to actually physically and mentally train officers to be able to respond. Now, how does that help? It helps because knowing that the security officer knows his job, knowing that he knows what to do in the situation, you feel more safe, whether you're an employee, whether you're a citizen. If I walk into a building, I expect security to know every protocol. I expect security to know what to do if there's a fire, if there's an active shooter, or whatever it may be. I expect security to know everything about the building from point A to point Z. And so making sure that the officers are fully trained to be public servants, to be public safety officers, and to serve not only their community when they're out here in the streets um, doing their jobs, but also in the buildings that they serve in as well. So trainings was the most big one for me, and that's once I train them, then they'll be able to go out and implement that into the community and to implement that also inside of their buildings that they're assigned to.
Great, Alor. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Davion, same to you. What is something you've learned during the class that you are already using or intend to use to help your department, those around you, but more importantly, to help or serve the citizens of Rochester?
Succession planning. And I say that to say I want to leave the city of Rochester, retire in a better shape that I found it. I want to inspire the next generation of future leaders. I want to help develop future leaders, and I want to leave the department better than I found it. We all have situations where we want to make changes, and this class helped me to develop myself so much that I strongly believe that I can do that. We have new employees coming in. There's not a lot of directions being given to them. The most recent one I took under my wing. While I'm in this class, it was basically the best timing ever.
Hmm.
So everything I was learning, I was practicing on him.
Very good.
So I am just trying to leave a mark and set a staple, a standard for my coworkers and new coworkers or new employees to emulate. If I am successful, when I am successful upon my retirement, this department will be better than when I just started.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Davion. And folks, Davion was voted by his classmates to represent the class, the cohort, as the speaker. And he did a fantastic job. So kudos to you. As Deputy Mayor Burns said, and he mentioned, and I'm going to ask you this, he talked about now you should be thinking about what's next, right? That's one of the things that he challenged you with in his remarks. So my question to you is that have you thought about what's next now that you've gone through this training? What is next for you personally, professionally, and then secondly, what is next for your team? So let's talk about what's next. Where do you go next from here? Arlo?
I think for me, where I go next is being able to implement. I really love the way we did our training through our 10 weeks, um, and everything that we have learned and adapt to the leadership styles. I would like to implement that in my team. I would like to implement that in my church and implement that just everywhere, really. Everywhere that it has to be done when it comes to being able to acknowledge the fact that there is a shortage or there is a disconnect and being able to be a solution. I realized that through the 10 weeks, it's not about what the problem is, it's about how can we be the solution.
Mm-hmm.
How can we be the solution to that problem? And to be able to take that and be able to implement that in my team, I really, I'm very grateful. I'm grateful that my team, I'm sorry, Coordinator Sneed believed in me, invested in me. The city of Rochester invested in me to be able to do this course because it's definitely opened my eyes to be able to do that, be able to identify what the issue is and being able to be a part of the solution. I can't be the solution by myself. But
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I've always been thinking, that let me be the solution. But no, I'm not the solution by myself. I have to utilize my team. I have to utilize management. I have to utilize everybody surrounding me. And I can implement that in the church. Same thing. Sometimes with the leadership team that I work with, sometimes it can be hard. It can be hard to serve others. It can be hard to do other things. But I'm always trying to be the solution. And I think that's where I keep falling is by me, trying to be the solution instead of saying us, we be the solution. And that's what I've learned through all of this. And so what's next for me is being able to teach other people that type of mentality, that it's not about you, it's about us.
That's right. That's right. That's good. That's right. It's not about you as a leader. It's about those that you serve. You have the privilege and the honor to serve. Thank you, Arlo. Davion, what is same thing? What's next?
What's next for me? I'm going to take the leadership class into the real world. Um, I want to be more intentional about how I communicate, how I handle challenges, how I react to different situations, and also how I influence people around me. Um, I want to start by helping others to develop themselves into being a better version of themselves, inspire people, and just build them up in a way that they didn't think they could be built up before. Confidence is another thing that I would like to instill not only in others, in myself. Growing up in an environment where you really didn't have a voice, confidence is a big thing for me. Or should I say the lack of confidence which I have had over the years, and trying to break that cycle. I just want to learn, apply, lead, develop others, and create a legacy in the city of Rochester.
Fantastic. So as we end, because we're coming up on the clock here, let's talk about last words. And folks, I will, over the coming weeks, we will invite others from the cohort to join us, so you can hear from others and hear what their experiences have been and what they are doing next. So any last words for our viewers and our listeners? Arlo, are you still there? Let's start with you, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Any last words as we close out?
I would just say for those who are listening, if you haven't taken um, this class, whether it's in your organization or whether it is in the city of Rochester, for those who are part of the city of Rochester or any part of the outside groups, I encourage you to take a class like this. This is very helpful. This is very motivating. This is definitely, you got to come with the mindset. You got to come open minded. Don't come in closed minded like me, or you're gonna start off like me. Okay. Don't start off how I started off. Right. Don't just take other people's word for it. Try it out for yourself. You'll love it, especially if you're growing into the leadership role, growing into being a supervisor, or whether it's you just trying to build yourself up. This is definitely the class. Now I see and hear what other people are talking about. And I definitely agree with them on 100% on the development style and how this has developed them. I have a testimony myself. So I encourage everybody to stay strong and identify what the problems is and the weaknesses and be a part of the solution.
Awesome, Arlo. Arlo, thank you so very much. Congratulations on what's to come. I know you have greater and better things ahead for you, both spiritually, personally, and professionally. So thank you and God bless. Okay, Davion, any
Yes,
last words?
two things. Persistence in the face of resistance is how you get things done. One. And you cannot do things, you can't do things today with yesterday's methods and be in business tomorrow. Things has to change.
That's awesome last words. I greatly appreciate that. And Davion, thank you so very much. I look forward, because I know what your goals are. I look forward to seeing you accomplish those goals and go above and beyond. I'll be your biggest cheerleader as you move forward, because I know you have some pretty huge goals. So, but I also know that you'll accomplish them. So say hi to your family. May God bless you, and say hi to your kids as well. And we'll see you very soon.
Thank you,
Patrick.
Thank
you. All right. So we've been talking about leadership. We've been talking about what's next. We've been talking about what was learned. And I want to personally thank both Davion and Arlo for joining me. They were from Cohort 13 from the city of Rochester. They all asked me, every cohort that we teach, they all ask, well, were we the best cohort? And my answer is always, I can neither confirm or deny. But this cohort was a great one. Every cohort is a great one. And we're especially blessed and honored and privileged to have the opportunity to partner with the city of Rochester ongoing. We are thankful for our clients, because without them, there's no Jackman Group. So on behalf of all of our clients, all those that we have trained, coached, and developed, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, if you would like to have your team join us as a client, make sure that you contact us. You can reach us by email, info@jackmangroupllc.com. That email address is info at Jackman Group LLC.com. We would love the honor and the privilege to work with your team, to work with your leaders, and help you to develop leaders, take them from where they are to where they desire to be, to help your teams to become more efficient, more effective, more productive, or to help your organization to become more nimble, to become, in terms of innovative, and to become a stronger organization. So contact us again, info@jackmangroupllc.com. Well, that's it for now. I want to thank you. I hope this was helpful. If you're watching it in replay, make sure you give us a like. Make sure that you send us a comment. And may God bless you. We'll see you on next week for another episode of the 30. We'll see you then. God bless you. Bye for now.